Hi, I'm William,
And I'm Kat,
and that makes this info on the go.
answering questions you may not want to know.
That's very good. Hey, Kat, I'm just going out on a limb here, but I do believe Halloween is one of your favorite holidays.
It is. I love fall.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
a
I love
summer
fall.
baby, but I love fall.
I'm a spring baby, but I love winter. Not Halloween is just part of it. I mean, I'm an outdoors person, so it means other things for me.
Well, I love the change of the season. I love the leaves turning orange. I love that you can go outside and not die of heat exhaustion. The bonfires. It's kind of too cold in the wintertime for bonfires. If the camping is even better in the fall. Spring is pretty good too, but the fall.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like, sitting around at the camp with my buddy and just sitting around the fire.
hmm
Oh,
hmm
just sitting
Little
back
little
talking.
simple hot dogs or something,
Yeah,
roughing it.
yeah, yeah. Well, so Halloween, it's really what we've been doing for the whole month here, right?
Hmm.
So I'm going to try to set this up. All right, so it's October 31st. You got that crisp feel of the air, kind of just gives you a little chill. You've got the leaves that crunch underneath your feet. The sky, the sun is setting. It is just now getting dark. It's darkness at its early stage.
I mean, you got the kids in the colorful costumes going door to door, laughter mingling with the rustle of the leaves.
You look around and you see pumpkins on porches, carved little creepy grins. And some people get really creative with those pumpkins, by the way.
Hmm.
And they're casting that flickering little light across your neighborhood.
Yes, and somewhere a group of friends huddles around a fire or under a blanket, whispering ghost stories that make the hairs on your arm stand up if they're doing it right.
But have you ever really stopped to wonder why do we really celebrate Halloween?
Right, where did this strange, spooky, and fun-filled holiday really come from?
Is it just about candy and costumes, or is there something older, deeper, and maybe even a little eerie behind it all?
Well, let's take a journey through time.
All right. I say let's start around about 2,000 years ago with the Celtic rituals. And then we'll kind of move through medieval Europe with its soul cakes and All Hallows Eve traditions. And then we'll kind of land somewhere in America where Halloween has become the glittering, ghostly, candy-fueled spectacle we all know today.
So grab your pumpkin spice latte or maybe just a flashlight and let's uncover the history behind Halloween.
You gotta always be punny, don't you?
Like, man, look, I went and bought me a pumpkin spice latte today.
Just because we did that pumpkin spice episode.
It's been on my mind since that episode, I will have you know.
It's kind of weird. I bought some pumpkin spice donuts just because of that episode.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Were they
Um,
good?
I haven't opened them yet.
That that's tragic.
So we're going to go back more than 2,000 years to the windswept fields and forest of ancient Celtic lands, long before candy and costumes existed, especially candy corn and pumpkin spice. How about that?
Sounds good. Mhm. The Celts who lived in what is now Ireland, the UK, and northern France had a calendar that divided the year into just two seasons, summer and winter.
And the turning point between them was Samhain, which was celebrated on the night of October 31st.
And this was no ordinary seasonal marker.
No, so the Celts believed that on this night, the veil between the living and the dead would grow very thin.
Right. And spirits could cross over into the world of the living. Some were thought to be harmless, even guiding the Celts to good harvest or offering protection. But, of course, others were feared.
Yeah, those butts are always there.
Hmm.
So you had diseases, misfortune, and death, and they were all blamed on spirits wandering around the living.
Right? And to navigate this eerie boundary, the Celts had a mix of fear and celebration.
Yeah, villagers would light massive bonfires, both to honor the dead and to ward off harmful spirits.
Hmm,
You know what? Those bonfires, they continue on today.
they do. They do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now that I have my own house, it will be this year's tradition as well. Oh,
I don't know about bonfires. Bonfires back when I was a kid, like, man, when I was a kid, I come from a small town and, I grew up on a farm, which was a farming community. But when we would do our bonfire, you could really see the glow from the light of town. Like, we anticipated this bonfire for months.
that's fair.
Did I say months? I
Well,
mean,
well, then you
months.
take the ashes and you prepare your, soil or whatever for your
And
farm.
no, you got to think. I come from like where they grow a lot of pecans, peaches, and when they would push those peach trees up, like back in the day, we would get them in a big pile, and that thing would burn for days,
Oh, I bet.
days. Yes.
I bet.
Anyway, so let's get back to the story of Halloween.
All right. So they wore costumes, often animal skins or heads, because they didn't really have like pre-made costumes like at Spirit Halloween like we do today. And that was to disguise themselves, to confuse the spirits, or perhaps taking on their power.
So you're telling me that the Celts would wear costumes made out of animal skins just to confuse the spirits?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, I guess I can kind of see where costumes kind of came from.
Right, right.
So some communities even practiced animal sacrifices or other rituals to ensure a safe transition into the dark months of winter.
And for fun, perhaps fate, people would practice early forms of divination, trying to predict who might marry who and who might prosper or even who might die in the coming year.
So imagine being a Celtic villager on a dark November night, the wind, with that chilly wind whispering through the trees, fires crackling in the village square, and the smell of smoke and burning herbs just kind of fill the air.
And everyone is on edge, dressed in masks or animal skins, nervously watching for signs from the other world, while some daring souls to test their fortune for the coming year.
So it's a night that blends fear, reverence, and a strangely festive energy. It's a night where the living and the dead share the same space.
And fast forward to a few centuries, and the Celts' lands were conquered by the Romans.
And as it often happens with empires, Roman festivals kind of began blending with the Celt Celtic traditions there, right?
Right. One such festival was Fairlia, which was held in late October to honor the dead.
Yeah, so families would make offerings to the spirits of their ancestors, not unlike some of the rituals at Samhain.
And other Roman traditions, Pomona honored the goddess of fruit and trees.
Pomona's symbol was the apple, which may explain the origins of one of Halloween's most enduring games, which is bobbing for apples.
Hmm. Over time, in the conquered Celtic lands, these Roman customs blended with Samhain, creating a layered tradition that combined honoring the dead, celebrating harvests, and indulging in playful, even slightly eerie games.
So, Halloween as we know it didn't really start with candy or costumes in the 20th century.
It began with the ancient people marking the passage of time, respecting the dead, fearing and celebrating spirits, and yes, having a little fun with divination and games.
Yeah, so the bones of the holiday, fire, mask, and a brush with the supernatural were already there. So it was just waiting to evolve over centuries, right?
Hmm.
How do you like
And
me being punny?
I love puns.
Yeah, the bones of the holiday.
Yes. So, as the centuries passed, Halloween began to change as it moved through medieval Europe, as it did, as everything did. through
Yeah.
medieval Europe.
Yeah, medieval Europe. We just need to do a whole thing on that. It would probably
Uh,
take us a month.
Yeah, man, it medieval Europe was a wild time.
Very wild.
And it's romanticized very much so all the time.
I would agree with that. So by the 8th century, the Christian church was looking for ways to integrate and absorb the old pagan traditions that still held sway over the local populations.
Hmm. And in an effort to honor saints and encourage Christian observance, Pope Gregory III moved All Saints' Day to the day to celebrate saints and martyrs to November 1st.
So, okay. So the night before October 31st naturally became All Hallows Eve, eventually shortened to, well, you guessed it, Halloween. And this was a clever move by the church.
By placing a holy day immediately after a pagan festival, they could ease the transition for people who were deeply attached to their old rituals.
So Samhain's focus on spirits and the dead didn't disappear. It just simply got a Christian framing, right?
Hmm. So suddenly, the supernatural energy of the night became a time to remember saints, pray for the dead, and reflect on the spiritual world in a new way.
So one medieval tradition that really kind of stands out is souling. Do you know what souling is?
Absolutely. It was for poor people, especially children and the elderly, who would go door to door asking for small cakes called soul cakes.
Hmm. In return for these soul cakes, they promised to pray for the souls of the household's deceased loved ones. So they would get cakes for prayers.
Right. Trick or treat. Uh,
Hmm.
so think of it as an early spiritual version of trick or treating. You give us cake, and we give you prayers.
Cake for prayers. I
Yep.
think I would rather have cake than candy for prayer. I don't know though. Candy would last longer.
Yeah. And it's debatable on whether it would make you more fat or not, though.
So, so okay. All right. So you just messed me all up, man. I can't even concentrate. I think sugar in general is gonna make, I mean,
I mean,
I can just look at a piece of candy or a piece of cake and I automatically gain like 2, 3 pounds.
right, right. But see, the cake also just is that's perishable. So you have to just go ahead and eat it in one go. I mean, the candy you can ration.
Oh, I see where you're going. So you look at the cake and you're like, man, I gotta eat this whole thing now or it's
Right,
gonna go bad.
right, right,
Where's the candy, you just leave it in the dish for like the next day.
right. Or the next few days.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way with cookies, especially fresh baked cookies.
Man,
We just got way off track.
fresh baked cookies.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even really matter what kind they are for me.
I do have a preference.
I mean,
Chocolate chip.
I was gonna say I'm partial to chocolate chip.
Yeah. Yeah, chocolate chip. But my daughter makes peanut butter cookies all the time. Oh man, those are good.
One of my ex's moms made really good peanut butter cookies.
My daughter, I'm telling you, she makes the best peanut butter cookies. And I beg her, like, hey, can you make some peanut butter cookies? And she'll, sure. And then like a month later, she'll make them. She teases me with those cookies, man.
Sounds about right.
So, so imagine truding through a chilly medieval village, knocking on the doors and saying, "A soul cake for a soul, please," which was kind of what they would say back then. And it was a
Mhm.
combination of charity, superstition, and a slightly awkward social obligation.
Sounds about right. And another version of this door to door custom, which was especially in Scotland and Ireland, was called guising.
Yeah. So this is where young people would dress in disguises, masks, cloaks, sometimes full animal costumes. So let's picture this. You kill a wolf or a bear or whatever, and then you kind of like tan the hide, and the children would just wear this animal skin. So they would perform little tricks, maybe songs, sometimes poems, and they would do this in exchange for, well, food or maybe even coins or something of value.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I mean, which one would you rather have, money or candy? Trick or
Mm,
treat,
coins. Coins.
I don't.
I would rather have coins.
Well, when I was a kid, I was gonna say, trick or treating, you always tried to hit that house that had the real size candy bars.
For sure. For sure. That's my adult wish now. As a child, for sure. I wanted all the candy.
Yeah, I want to be that. I want to be the house that the kids go to, and they're like, he's got the full size candy bars. Well,
Right.
anyway,
So, anyways, this practice helped develop what we now recognize as trick or treating. But it was more about creativity, performance, and a little bit of mischief than just candy.
remember that mischief night? Mm.
Mischief night, right.
Yeah, so costumes and masks in medieval Europe also had a serious supernatural purpose.
Ooh. People believed that spirits and otherworldly creatures roamed freely on this night.
Yeah, so by disguising themselves, villagers could either ward off the harmful spirits or kind of fool them into thinking they were one of their own.
Masks could be grotesque, frightening, or simply mysterious, and the act of dressing up became a protective ritual as much as a playful one.
So, European folklore during this period was rich with tales of spirits, witches, and other supernatural beings like werewolves.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Halloween wasn't just a holiday. It was a night when the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred, and people had to be clever, cautious, and a little daring to navigate it safely.
I wonder if they're walking around and they have those scarecrows up and they're like, wait a minute. I wonder if that could be the Night of the Living Dead and run like crazy.
Right, Children of the Corn.
Oh my gosh, you got me with that one in the other episode too. All right, so costumes, prayers, and cakes all became tools in this delicate dance between humans and spirits, right?
Right. So by the end of the medieval period, though, Halloween had become a layered holiday. Part Christian observance, part survival of pagan ritual, part communal celebration with food, costumes, and performance.
But it was still eerie. It was still mysterious, but also increasingly embedded in the village life and culture. So this really kind of set the stage for the next big evolution when the holiday crossed the Atlantic. And I say before we get into that, Cat, we should take a small break, right?
Sounds good to me.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Looking for your favorite band, team, or TV show, maybe that movie? Since 1969, Old Glory has been the ultimate destination for officially licensed merchandise, with over 300,000 items in music, sports, movies, TVs, and popular culture. And you have Christmas coming up. Have that hard to find person that you're looking for? Check out Old Glory. At checkout, use our exclusive listener discount code and get 15% off any product. All you have to do is put InfoGo in at checkout. That's InfoGo at oldglory.com. You can find the link in the show notes.
Are you too hot at night? Well, say hello to the world's softest sheets. Cozy Earth's bamboo sheet set keeps you cool, dry, and comfy all night long. It's made from bamboo. They're moisture wicking, breathable, and get even softer with every wash. Did you even know that you can make sheets out of bamboo? I didn't. I thought that was awesome. And they have pajama sets. Pure cozy elegance, stylish, silky, praised on Good Morning America and in style, and backed by thousands of five-star reviews. You can't beat the 100-night sleep trial and free shipping on over $50 plus a 10-year warranty for sheets. 41% off any product with code INFOGO at CozyEarth.com. Make sure you find the link in the show notes. Now that we're back, let's get into the Halloween that crossed the Atlantic. So when Halloween crossed the Atlantic with European settlers, it faced a very different cultural landscape.
Yeah, so in colonial America, especially in New England, which were mostly Puritan communities that were deeply skeptical of the holiday, right?
Right. They viewed it as pagan, superstitious, and even sinful. Oh, not sinful. In some towns, Halloween celebrations were outright banned.
Yeah, so the focus was on hard work, faith, moral order, and not so much on spirits, mask, or this mischief.
And meanwhile, in the southern colonies, traditions were less rigid.
So people incorporated old European customs alongside local harvest celebrations. So that's kind of where you get that fall festival from, right?
So, divination games, fortune telling, and harvest festivals were very common. And Halloween began to be seen as more as a community event than a strictly spiritual or moral occasion.
Yeah, so this regional contrast meant that Halloween survived in some places, but kind of faded in others and was still evolving in another way, right?
Right.
Like it's all confused here.
With things evolve, things change. It's
Yeah,
just
things change.
it's just kind of how it goes. But the real turning point came in the 19th century with waves of Irish and Scottish immigrants fleeing famine and hardship.
Yeah. So they brought with them the rich traditions of Samhain, which All Hallows Eve and guising.
One of their most enduring contributions was the jack-o'-lantern.
The jack-o'-lantern?
Yeah, the jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, so in Ireland, people carved faces into turnips and other root vegetables to help ward off these spirits.
Could you imagine carving a face into a carrot or a potato?
A potato. I could not in a carrot. I mean, you've got to be skilled to do a pumpkin, much less a potato or a carrot. But have you ever had the Irish potato where they cut it really thin, baste it with butter?
Mm,
Oh my gosh.
I'm
They're
pretty
very,
sure my mom's husband has made us something similar once,
yeah,
and I have to agree it is tasty. But he makes potatoes of all kinds.
yeah.
Potatoes is one of his main food groups. There's only meat and potatoes in Scotland, from what he says. Once they arrived in America, they discovered the native pumpkin, larger, easier to carve, and perfect for Halloween.
So the pumpkin was perfect for a jack-o'-lantern, and guess what? The pumpkin jack-o'-lantern was born.
Ta-da!
Only here in America, in colonial America, I guess I should say.
Right, by the Scots and Irishmen.
Yeah.
Around this time, we also see the earliest mentions of trick-or-treating in the United States.
Yeah, so this is where children would dress in costumes and go door to door for food, coins, or treats, and sometimes performing a little song or reciting something just in exchange for, whatever they're getting from their neighbors.
Right.
Could you imagine kids knocking on your door now and performing a little song?
You know,
The good chip lollipop.
right. Lollipop, lollipop, oh, lolly, lolly, lolly,
Oh,
lollipop.
I was thinking about the Munchkins in The Wizard of Oz.
I know, you said lollipop though, and I went for the Chordettes.
Oh,
So,
okay. I
in
got
any
you.
case, while it wasn't the candy-fueled tradition we know today, the spirit of performance, mischief, and community participation was already there.
Yeah, so communities also embraced Halloween through parties and public gatherings.
Well, newspapers from the 1800s report elaborate harvest festivals where adults and children played games, they told fortunes, and engaged in harmless pranks.
Yeah, I guess they would be bobbing for apples. I mean, think about Ichabod Crane during this time, the Headless Horseman, right?
I like the Headless Horseman. I wasn't too big on the animated version of that movie
Yeah.
though, or
Did you
story.
ever bob for apples, though?
No, I have never bobbed for apples.
You've never bobbed for apples?
I know, isn't that sad?
That is extremely sad.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay though. It's a cultural gap. I mean, I did it,
I
and I
thought it was
never.
just one of those things that you do in movies, so
No, it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
I thought that
Um,
about a lot of things.
So one account from an 1847 Pennsylvania newspaper, it describes one of these Halloween celebrations where young women would try to catch glimpses of their future husbands in mirrors or by peeping at the first man to pass by at midnight.
Ooh,
I think that within itself is kind of unique.
yeah,
All
for
right.
sure. So these games were playful, mysterious, and tied to both superstition and social bonding.
Yeah, so by the 19th century there, Halloween in America had become a patchwork of old European rituals, harvest celebrations, and community events.
It was still a night tinged with mystery and superstition, but it was also increasingly a chance for fun, creativity, and connection among neighbors, which sets the stage for the explosion of modern Halloween in the 20th century.
Yeah, so by the 20th century, Halloween in America was it was really kind of starting to look more like the holiday we know today.
Hmm. Communities began organizing parties and gatherings that were safer and more structured, particularly for children.
Yeah. So trunk or treat.
Hmm.
Yeah. So rather than relying on superstition or old world rituals, Halloween became a chance for, neighbors to come together, enjoy games, have a little bit of fun, do some block parties.
This also marked the beginnings of commercialization, of course.
Yeah, like costumes. I mean, there's money to be made in that, right?
Let's capitalize.
Yeah, candy producers saw it as a huge opportunity. I mean, why not limited time edition Halloween? You know, it just really started to kind of become a big business, didn't it?
Hmm. And trick-or-treating began to explode in popularity between the 1920s and the 1950s.
Children in towns and cities across the country, they began to dress up in homemade costumes and started going door to door, going trick or treat,
Right. Instead of please soul for prez.
or I'll do a little dance for you and sing you a little song. You give me a little treat.
Rural areas adapted the tradition differently, sometimes incorporating local harvest festivals or community bonfires.
Community bonfires, I'm all for that.
Right.
Yeah, so across the country, you know, local variations kind of flourished. Some neighborhoods emphasized games, while others emphasized on pranks, and some kind of focused on parties.
The core idea, however, was the same: a night of playful disguise and community participation.
So as the decades rolled on, Halloween became deeply entwined with popular culture.
Hmm. By the 1970s, horror films, TV specials, and haunted attractions were shaping how Americans celebrated the holiday.
So the release of the movie franchise Halloween in 1978, for example, not only cemented the association of Halloween with masks and spooks, but it also influenced costume culture for generations. I remember those first Jason costumes. They were horrible, by the way. You probably don't remember with the little rubber band with the staples in the side of the little plastic mask that would go over your head.
Nope.
Yeah, those costumes were horrible. And then you dressed in this little plastic suit that I got a funny story off air for that, but you would dress in this little plastic suit that wouldn't halfway fit over your clothes and would tie in the back, and it would be just hot and disgusting. You don't remember any of that, huh?
um, so see, my mom was born in 78. So no. No, I don't remember anything
You
before,
know
like,
what?
let's say
We
1997. All right.
let's just move on from here because I don't think we can have a conversation at this point.
No, I mean I've seen some cheap costumes by now.
Yeah, those costumes back in those days when I was a kid, they were horrible. And that rubber band would pop.
But
And
they
then
were
you would,
trying their best, okay? They were trying to capitalize somewhere.
well, I mean, in the 50s, at least they had a stick on the mast that they would hold up against their face. Yeah, I didn't even have that, man. We just had this cheap plastic cutout of a Tupperware bowl that we would stick on our face. And if you could breathe, great. And if you couldn't, oh well, they didn't really care. Just, and I grew up in a time where it was like, just be home when it gets dark. And then on Halloween, it was like, well, we'll probably be in the bed when you get home.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
Um, Eventually, children and adults weren't just dressing as generic ghosts or witches. They wanted to emulate characters from movies, TV shows, and pop culture icons.
Yeah, so Halloween also began to spread globally. And this was thanks in large part to media and cultural exchange during this time.
Mm. In Japan, costume parties and themed events became real popular, although trick-or-treating is often limited to certain neighborhoods or schools.
Meanwhile, in Europe, Halloween kind of started to merge with local harvest festivals, or it maintained its connection with All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day,
Hmm.
which that sounds pretty cool because I've heard in Europe you go souling. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right that, here we call it trick-or-treating, but in Europe they call it souling.
Latin American countries sometimes blend Halloween with traditions like Day of the Dead, celebrating ancestors with altars, offerings, and communal remembrance.
Yeah, the Day of the Dead. I mean, that didn't Disney do a movie something similar to that?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that was
Very
a good
cute movie.
movie. Yeah. So really kind of what we talked about here is each culture has kind of adapted Halloween in ways that reflect its own history and customs, right?
Right. So I got a question. Why does Halloween continue to resonate over 2,000 years after its Celtic origins?
That is a great question. And I think part of it is fear. The thrill of ghosts, ghouls, the veil being thin between the two. Like it opens so many doors, right?
Right, right. And then you have the fun part. You got the costumes, games, candy, and performances.
Yeah, and those block parties I was talking about. I love those.
I may have been invited to one cookout one time in my life, okay, but I'd have never really been to a block party.
Part of it is community. It's neighbors coming together and to celebrate, share, and connect.
Hmm. And Halloween taps into something deeply human, which is our fascination with the mysterious, our love of play and imagination, and our desire to mark the changing seasons with ritual and celebration.
I would agree with that because I love to mark that celebration from hot to cool.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Although we live in the South, Georgia, and sometimes in Thanksgiving it can be 80 degrees. Who knows?
Yeah, sometimes we just get false fall and it's rude.
Yeah, it's just a flip of a coin here.
Right.
So to kind of break it down, it's a holiday that has evolved over centuries. It kind of brings together those ancient fears and the medieval customs with a little modern creativity, all the while kind of remaining and enduring communal experience, right?
Right. William, let's just take a break before we get into some fun facts, oddities, and myths.
Oh yeah, let's take another break. I'm good with that.
And so we're back. And now with fun facts, oddities, and myths.
All right. Even after centuries of evolution, Halloween has never lost its quirky, mysterious, and sometimes downright strange charm, right?
Right. Take the jack-o'-lantern, for instance.
All right. Well, I think we kind of evaded in this a little bit earlier, but in Ireland, people originally carved faces into turnips, carrots, potatoes, other little vegetables to ward off evil spirits, right?
Hmm. And when Irish immigrants arrived in America, they discovered pumpkins, bigger, easier to carve, and much more fun to display.
Hey, there's your party thing you can take to your next Halloween party. Hey, did you know this evolved from carving potatoes?
Hell, I'll just carve a carrot or a potato.
Yeah, so that little simple exchange kind of brought its kind of reshaped Halloween into its iconic symbol we know today, right?
Costumes, too, have seen a dramatic evolution,
Yeah, in medieval Europe, they were designed to ward off spirits or mimic them, right?
right? And by 19th century America, costumes were often homemade, ranging from witches and ghosts to humorous or whimsical disguises.
All right. So, Kat, I just got to call out my oldest daughter here. She is the most creative person. Well, I can't say that about my youngest daughter just yet, but my oldest daughter, she is extremely creative when it comes to our grandkids for Halloween. Extremely. And I'm going to kind of give you some ideas of what she done. One year, she dressed the oldest one as Colonel Sanders and the youngest one as a little chicken. And he toted it around a little KFC bucket that she made. I mean, that's just one of the examples.
That's cute.
Um, it was extremely cute. I mean, she's done all kinds of stuff like that as they've grown, but that is the one that stands out to me the most. One year they were Ghostbusters. The family dressed up as Star Wars. Um, but, to say all that is to say, today's costumes are more of a kaleidoscope of creativity. Um, some inspired by pop culture, some inspired by movies, and some even viral trends. They're no longer those little plastic crappy things that I wore when I was a kid.
Or, God forbid, animal fur.
Oh wow, you went way back.
Well,
I am not that old.
I mean, me either, of course. But could you imagine wearing a pelt on your head? Because, I mean, those are kind of creepy in and of themselves,
And
especially if they sewed the eyes shut, okay?
oh wow, I probably would have killed for one of those when I was a kid to go trick-or-treating in. I'm just saying, you got to think, I wore plastic. Your costumes in your day were a lot better. The ones I see in the stores today at Party City and all that, or the party stores, those are great. I didn't have any of that. We had a little plastic thing, and you're lucky if you could even find one in your size, or you would just cut some holes in a white sheet and go around and be like, boo.
Boo.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No, it's not.
From terrifying to adorable to downright bizarre, dressing up has become a key way for people of all ages to express themselves.
Yeah, you got superstitions, you got folklore, and it all still remains that core part of what Halloween's identity is all about.
Right. Black cats, witches, and bonfires all have roots in old beliefs about protection, luck, and the supernatural.
Oh, yeah. So black cats, for instance, were thought to carry either good or bad luck, and it really depended on the culture.
Yeah, I've heard both.
Yeah.
I count it as good luck, though. I think it's all in the eye of the beholder.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not all.
You're just not a creature person, okay?
I am not. I am not a pet person, but I do not like it when a black cat crosses my path.
Why?
I've always been taught it was bad luck, especially, it's like, oh man, yeah, I'm just not into that.
I will purposely get a black cat just to have good luck, okay?
So you're gonna be like, go cross William's path, cat, go do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. I will. Just to
Just to get back at me for being your co-host, man, that's wrong.
no, see, my brain went shiver me timbers. Like, no, you're fine. Bonfires dating back to Samhain were a way to honor the dead and ward off malevolent spirits.
Yeah, so witches have long been feared and really misunderstood, and they became symbols of Halloween's blend of fear and fascination with, well, the unknown. I think
You
we
know,
touched on that in our witch episode too, didn't we?
yeah. And then there are the forgotten or strange practices that give Halloween its whimsical edge.
Yeah, so like in the 19th century America, fortune-telling games were popular at Halloween parties, especially among young women hoping to catch a glimpse of their future husbands, because that's what young women did in the 19th century.
But, I mean, that just sounds like any 15-year-old girl, okay?
I don't know, I was never a 15-year-old girl.
Well, I assure you, we're all about it.
Okay.
Pranks, sometimes elaborate, were another staple. Doors would be soaped, gates removed, or harmless tricks played on neighbors.
Mischief night,
Hmm.
all there.
Right.
So these quirky little customs that we've been talking about, though less common today, still show how Halloween has always been a holiday of play, creativity with a little bit of mischief.
And all of these oddities, myths, and fun facts remind us that Halloween is more than just candy and costumes.
Yeah, I think it's about it's about tradition. It's really shaped by centuries of superstition, storytelling, imagination, and it still continues to evolve in ways that are both familiar and surprising, right?
Right. And as we've seen, Halloween is far more than a night of candy, costumes, and spooky fun.
Yeah, it's really a holiday that's been shaped over more than 2 millennia. It's a fascinating blend of ancient Celtic rituals, medieval European traditions, and well, you got to put that modern America creativity into it.
So, from the bonfires and the masks of Samhain to the soul cakes and the guising of the Middle Ages to the community parties and pop culture inspired costumes of today.
Honestly and truly, Halloween has always evolved while keeping its core sense of mystery, play, and celebration.
But why does it still capture our imagination?
I think Halloween it kind of taps into that thrill of the fear and the creativity part of it. But I think also it's the connection that brings people together, right?
Yeah, it's a holiday where stories come alive, where mischief is expected, and where imagination rules the night.
Yeah, so the next time you sat down to carve that pumpkin with your kids, grandkids, or you just do it yourself, or if you're gonna put on that costume, make your own costume, whatever, um, and and you go to hand out candy to little brave trick-or-treaters, remember, just remember this: you are participating in a tradition that is more than 2,000 years old.
Right. You're part of a long, colorful history of fear, fun, and community. So, all wrapped up in one magical October night.
I thought this was fun.
Yeah, I'll have to be more appreciative of it.
Yeah, I mean it started off with being able to celebrate, I guess summer and winter because, there was no spring and fall, I'm assuming is what we were talking about.
Right, right. Only two seasons.
Yeah, and then dressing up in animal skins to kind of like hide from the spirits. You know, today's world, you've got fall festivals that churches do. You got trunk or treat parties that go on in parking lots to keep kids safe. You got all different kind of stuff. You got block parties like we talked about. You got community bonfires, and you got co-hosts that you can share Halloween traditions with on the show, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I don't really have too many Halloween traditions. I remember doing a tradition project in school, and we were just not that together connected as a family unit. And then a lot of my family members passed on.
Same.
So,
And in our neighborhood, the kids have all gone and grown. I think the last 2 years we didn't hand out candy. The one year, me and my wife and my daughter put all these bags together, and I think we did like 100, and we gave out like 10. So my wife was like, "We're not doing this no more," because all the kids are
aw,
gone.
yeah,
I mean, we've lived here long enough that we've seen all the young ones leave. Anyway,
aw. That sounds
that's
kind of sad.
it's not sad. It's good. It's good when you move into this, which we do have some young families that have moved in now.
Yeah, well, in my community, I didn't realize that they did trick or treating, so we planned on going elsewhere because it's such a small city, and I have to just emphasize on the small. But there are a couple of other families with littler kids that are around Nova's age, so it does help. But most of most of the community here is retirement age.
Yeah,
So
that's most of what I live in now. I mean, we do have some kids now, I think.
now I don't say that to be a bad thing. I love it. It's quiet. Nobody really wants to cause a ruckus, all right, at all. I don't have to worry about anything. And everybody was so connected after the hurricane, so it worked out.
Absolutely. That's pretty much all I've got.
If you would like to support this podcast, tell a friend and help get the word out.
Uh, if you would like to help us keep the show going, you can do so at Patreon. And at Patreon, you can get access to our shows a month in advance.
Yeah. And William and I want to thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you.
Join the Facebook group at Info on the Go
You can share with us your show ideas.
or ask us a question.
Hey, subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcast.
Send us a text using the link in the show notes or leave a review.
It really helps get the word out and it helps others find us. But you can also email us at,
Infoonthegopodcast@gmail.com.
and yes, that is all one word. Till next time.
Stay curious.